So the end of 2022 is upon us. It's that time of year where everyone shares their Spotify Wrapped, showing who their favorite artists were and what their most played songs were. And since the point of this channel is to make a record of the things I'm watching or listening to, what better way to end the year than to go through my Spotify Wrapped for 2022. So this year I listened to 19,278 minutes of music, which was more than 68% of other Australian listeners. I was so close to greatness. In all honesty, I am a little bit surprised that it isn't higher. I mean, I've definitely had years where I've listened to more music than I have this year, but I still did expect to hit at least 20,000. My top song was Die Hard by Kendrick Lamar, which I played 59 times, which is absolutely insane. Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers was heavy in my rotation this year, as was a lot of Kendrick's music, which we'll get to shortly. I played 1,160 songs this year, which is about the same amount of songs that I have liked on my account. I also listened to 513 artists this year. In general, I'd say my listening habits are more so focused on listening to a small section of artists rather than a large variety. I tend to hone in on certain artists that I like and really go through their music thoroughly rather than spread myself thin. My top 5 artists this year were Kendrick Lamar, Kid Cudi, Kanye West, The Weeknd, and Frank Ocean. I think this is pretty fitting, to be honest, because these are honestly probably my 5 favorite artists of all time. I was surprised to see Kendrick Lamar ahead of Kid Cudi, because generally my first place goes to Kid Cudi, or if not, Kanye West. However, this year I went through Kendrick's entire discography, so I think that really bumped up his numbers rather than Cudi, who had just the one album towards the back end of the year. My top genre was hip-hop, which is no surprise, and my top 5 songs were Die Hard, Less Than Zero, Love, Gasoline, and Mother I Sober. So now let's have a look at my Wrapped playlist. So for those of you who aren't aware, this is basically my playlist of songs that I played the most, with number 1 being the song that I listened to the most times, all the way down to 100. So scrolling through, you'll see a bit of a trend of certain albums such as Dawn FM and Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers being 2 albums that I listened to a fair bit this year. Other Kendrick Lamar albums will also feature on this list quite frequently, such as Damn. We see that New Mode was actually my most listened to Kid Cudi song, and considering how late into the year Intergalactic came out, it's honestly quite impressive that it managed to poll this high. I think After Hours will probably be in my rotation until I die. That song is so incredible, especially in a car at night. And scrolling down more, you'll basically see lots of tracks from Dawn FM. I'm pretty sure Dawn FM and Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers will have pretty much their whole track list here, because I listened to those albums so many times. Come to Life was my most played Kanye West song, which isn't surprising given how incredible it is. Also, the deluxe version is just objectively the best version because it has Tyler the Creator's background vocals. Father Stretch My Hands Part 1 is a song that frequently makes my rotation as well. Drake was actually another artist that I listened to a fair bit this year. I'm not the biggest Drake fan, but I kind of dabbled with a few of his albums and started to listen to some of his more popular songs that I do like, and Passion Fruit's one example of that. I think it's a terrific song. Nirvana was another artist too that I listened to a fair bit. I didn't actually delve into any of their albums, but I did listen to most of their biggest hits and stuff, and All Apologies is definitely one of my favorite tracks from the band. And scrolling through, you can probably get an idea of what my music taste is. It's very melodic, it's very similar to one another. Blonde has a very similar style to, say, Dawn FM and Intergalactic, and they're all very similar. When the Party's Over is honestly a bit surprising to me. I think it's just because it's fell into a few different playlists of mine, and it just tends to always come on. It's a great song, to be fair, but Billie Eilish is someone that I haven't really listened to all that much outside of this song. A Kid Named Cudi finally came to streaming services this year as well, and it's no surprise to see The Prayer sitting 50th on the list, one of my favorite songs of all time. And here we can see that even one of my least favorite songs off of Intergalactic still manages to poll as high as 54th. Money Trees has actually been a song that I've been jamming a lot this year. It's honestly one of my favorite Kendrick Lamar songs, and it's just something that I can listen to over and over and over again without ever getting bored. Section 80 was another album that was heavily on my rotation, and Fuck Your Ethnicity is one of my favorite songs off of that album. Stop Trying to Be God is actually one of my favorite tracks of all time from Travis Scott. I'm not a big Travis Scott fan, but this track is just something I can listen to every day and never get sick of it. And for the most part, a lot of my favorite songs are appearing here, like Star Shopping and Sad People, WAV Files, Sing About Me, I'm Dying of Thirst, Nikes. These are just all tracks that I listen to every year because I love them so much. Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe was another one that I really jammed to this year. Like I said earlier, I went through Kendrick Lamar's entire discography, and Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe is definitely one of those tracks that I can just put on the car every time I'm driving, and I'll never skip it. And yeah, rounding out the top 100, we've basically got the rest of Dawn FM and the rest of Intergalactic, a few more Kendrick songs. Mac Miller's Self Care is just a classic that I always love listening to as well, and ASAP Rocky featuring down the list a little bit, LSD being one of his most listenable songs. So yeah, that is pretty much it. That's what I listened to in 2022. Not my most popular year with music, but also not my worst. Who were your top artists? How many minutes did you listen to Spotify this year? I'd love to hear it in the comment section down below. This has been For The Record. Thank you for watching.